Yes, I know what you're about to ask. No, I did not build this PC. Hi, hello, welcome to the Casual Commons, where we're all common people, casually going from evil screen from 9 to 5 to fun screen 5 to 9 every day. So I recently bought a gaming PC. It's been 7 years in the making. I haven't had like a proper gaming setup since I graduated high school. So what I was using was my old janky laptop, which just died if you pull it off the power, and it couldn't run any new games. So I was kind of just stuck playing old compatible games. So it was not fun. After I graduated college, I promised myself that I would get a gaming PC just to get back into gaming when I paid off my student loans. And I did pay my student loans pretty early, but I kept pushing off purchasing a PC because I kept thinking what if I need the money because I live in an expensive city, and what if I don't have space because New York is known for their shoebox apartments. And I always had an excuse to keep pushing off this purchase, but you know what? I deserve to play video games good. I deserve this. So I've had my PC, the NZXT H1 Mini, the pre-build, for about 2 months now. Obviously, I was trying to film this when I first got the PC, but obviously it's been serving me well. I've been procrastinating with my YouTube uploads because I've just been enjoying playing video games. And the culprit's right here. Come here. Tell them how you keep distracting me from making YouTube videos. Come here. She says she's a little shy, but you look good though. So I've had my PC for about 2 months, and I just kind of wanted to talk about the research and buying process, and then kind of how it's performed, and do a quick review of how well I spent my money. So I decided to buy this PC in January 2021. I initially thought about waiting until May, until I knew kind of where I was going to live for the next year, just so I didn't have to carry it or move it or just risk it being damaged. But then I thought, it's the quarantine, and if there's any good time to just stay inside and do nothing but gaming, it's going to be the winter before the vaccine hits. I initially thought about building my own PC, but after doing research and watching 5 hours of how to build a PC from scratch videos, I just decided against it because, one, I'd have to look into parts that are compatible, and I just don't know how to do that. 2, I'd have to wait for pieces to come one by one. And then 3, if I messed up something, I wouldn't know how to troubleshoot it. So I just thought, we'll get a pre-build and I could always upgrade piece by piece later. And I'm also grown and I made my money, and I'm gonna pay someone to put my PC together for me. I don't mind if it's $200 markup to have it pre-built. And you know what? If it's more than $200, keep that negative energy to yourself. I don't want to hear it. So I wanted a PC primarily for gaming and editing, just, my digital hobbies. I wanted to splurge on something that could do both of those things well, but I didn't need top of the line stuff just because I'm not a professional. I don't do this for a living every day. So I didn't need the 3090. I didn't need terabytes of storage. I didn't need all of that. So I initially had budgeted $1,500 for the PC itself, and what landed on kind of that budget and what I was looking for was the streamer PC. And if it could stream and play games at the same time, surely it could juggle video editing and just gaming at the same time. So I was about to buy that, and then I kind of hopped over on the other tabs just to see what they had. And they had the H1 Mini, and I was like, wow, that's kind of cute. It's only $300 more. I get a nice tiny PC that I could fit on my desk in a tiny apartment, and the specs were a little bit better. So I was like, hey, why not just splurge a little bit more just to get something that looks really good. So I was like, you know what, I deserve this. So I expanded my budget to $1,800 and press buy. So let's discuss the specs. I want to be sure that you know that I got the H1 Mini at $1,800. This version is not the same one that they're currently selling on their website, nor do I think it is the kind of default version. My guess is that they ran out of 3070s and they decided to sub in the super 2070s instead, and then lower the price and decrease the RAM. And looking back in hindsight, it would be nice to have, the 3070 and more RAM, but I think if it were at the $2,000 price point, I probably wouldn't have gotten it. So I think overall, I'm happy that I kind of got a little shafted, but not really, because I bought the PC and I really like it. It just does what I needed to do. For gaming, I haven't experienced any issues so far. I usually play on medium to high. I don't play on ultra high or the very high settings, just because, I don't want to risk any performance issues while I'm kind of in a gunfight or just doing a boss raid, So I'm just okay, we'll just use medium to high settings, and usually high settings just work perfectly for me with full frame rates that I need. NZXT advertised this PC as something that could run like popular titles very well at like high frame rates, and like I can play Apex Legends, Valorant, League of Legends, and other games on high settings, and I really don't see an issue. For like open world MMOs where like scenery is the focus and there's just a lot of textures and people running around, I do see some frame drops when I'm running at like high, very high settings on like Guild Wars 2, just because I like seeing things look nice. However, I usually don't mind it, and it only really happens when there are a ton of people or the textures are kind of like out of this world. But if I do need the performance, it's easy for me to just make the trade-offs by changing things from high / like very high to medium and just be on my way. I don't notice a difference in like immersion or visuals. It's fine for me, and it's something I'm willing to do if I, truly need the performance. For editing, I haven't noticed any issues so far. However, my videos tend to be on the simple side. So if you're doing like complex layering, if you're 3D modeling, if you're doing all these effects in DaVinci Resolve or whatever program you use, I can't say that it'll perform perfectly, but for me so far, it hasn't given me any issues. And rendering has been the greatest thing that I've witnessed so far with all of my PCs, laptops, whatever. I can usually render like a less than 15-minute video under 10 minutes. And if it gets to the like 40-50 minute mark for playthrough videos, it's like a 1-to-1 ratio, as in if it's 40 minutes, it'll take 40 minutes to render, which is never an issue. And I haven't really experienced any crashes with those lengthier videos. So my initial review of this PC is that every dollar I paid for it was worth it. I'm so happy I spent my money buying this because it's brought me joy for the last 2 months, which has been great. I really enjoy this PC. There's not much bad to say about it, but I do have two very, very, very minor just critiques or negatives about it. So first is that you should know that the plugins for your like USB and like all your peripherals are at the bottom of the PC, and it's kind of hard to get to just because of how it's built. So for the first month when I was getting all of my peripherals in like one by one, I had to constantly just make sure that my PC was off, then like flip it on its side, then plug it in, then like slowly lift it up. And I was always nervous that the glass on the front would break. So that's something to be aware of if you're just someone who likes to plug in and plug out things just to change your peripherals up. But once you get everything in place and you don't need to change anything out, it's perfect. And obviously that is a trade-off you're making when you're buying something, so small and so compact. And then the next thing is, I've heard from other reviews too, is that the power button has a light on it and it kind of flickers sporadically. It kind of looks ugly, and it's not bothering me. It bothers some other people. It does that, and it does make it look ugly, but it doesn't mean that there's any issues with like the power or performance or whatever. However, I think if NZXT is pricing this at $2,000, and if they're making it their top of the line product right before the professional grade pre-build, then I don't think they should have left any room whatsoever for critiques or complaints about the case or just the aesthetic of the PC itself. I feel like that was kind of just a little amateur move to do. Like, if you're going to put this at $2,000, make sure that, people aren't going to say it's ugly. So the main point of this video is my gaming PC, but I will talk about all of the other peripherals I got just to make my whole setup and what I'm planning to upgrade in the future, in case you were curious. So for my monitor, I decided on the MSI Optics G241. It's 24 inches, 1080p. It's 144 hertz, so it's great for gaming. That's what it was advertised for. It was like $250, which is definitely more expensive than I thought monitors were, but again, it has a higher refresh rate, so obviously it's going to cost more. So all in all, money well spent here. And the mic that you're looking at right now is the Audio-Technica ATR 2100X USB dynamic mic. It has a USB-C plug, so I can plug it into my phone, which is incredible. For my mouse, I currently have the Logitech G600 mouse. I bought this like 5-6 years ago when I was really into Guild Wars 2, and I was like, maybe I should have an MMO mouse that has a lot of buttons on it. However, it is really heavy, and I'm looking into getting a new one. For my keyboard, this is my first mechanical keyboard, and I wanted a like ducky keyboard, but their shipping times were just insane, so I decided to cancel my order and went with the HyperX Alloy Origins core with the red linear switches. Also got the little keycaps to switch over, and I think it looks beautiful, and I'm really happy with this purchase as well. Also, peep the secondhand air on. So in the future, I do want to make certain upgrades to my whole setup. Firstly is kind of getting a bigger desk, or like a desk more conducive to having both a gaming setup and a work setup on it. Currently, what I'm doing now is when I am not using my PC and want to like work at my desk, I have to push everything backwards just to have my laptop sit at the front, which is kind of annoying and like does get messy, but it works. Then I want to get a monitor arm just to get some real estate on my desk back. The monitor that I have now is kind of heavy and it requires like longer legs, so it's kind of taking up a lot of space on my desk. And then I also kind of want a second monitor. I don't think I really need it, but it would be nice for content creation, as well as if I'm playing games, I could have a guide up on the side. I don't think I will buy the same monitor because 1, it's kind of large, 2, it's expensive, 3, I don't need like a secondary gaming monitor. What I need is kind of like just a small display. I think that's it. Again, I'm very happy with my gaming PC purchase and just finally being able to get back into PC gaming. I didn't realize how much like I missed playing video games on the PC and like having a setup until I actually got this PC again. So great purchase. But the best thing about this PC is it's mine, like it's truly and fully mine. I paid my student loans off. I got myself into a good financial situation. I saved up, I did the research, I paid for this in full. So I think, so not only is this an entertainment system and a hobby tool, it's also, it kind of marks that this is an achievement for me in my like adult working life. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you come back, subscribe for more. This is not a tech review channel, but if I get more tech, then I will talk about it just because it's free content. Okay, bye.